Tomboys are going extinct. Now, after hearing that statement, you, a seasoned tomboy enjoyer, probably had a reasonable reaction.
Sorry.
But it's no lie. Tomboys, one of the most sought after phenotypes of women, have been slowly phased out of the mainstream, replaced by an ever-growing invasive species, feminine boyicus. These
That's even worse. That is so bad.
creatures, while sharing a shocking number of similarities with their tomboy counterparts, are surprisingly not to be blamed for the current landscape we live in. And to quote Aristotle, when nature removes one species, another must fill the void. So who, or even what, is responsible for our current tomboyless landscape? Well, that's obviously the point of this video. So sit back, don't relax, because it's a very serious issue. And today, we're figuring out what really happened to our beloved tomboys. But before we even begin to understand what happened to tomboys, we gotta establish one thing first. What even is a tomboy? And thankfully, that is the easiest part of this video. In the simplest terms, tomboys are girls who do things that are typically associated with boys. They aren't a sexuality, nor are they a gender identity. We'll get into all that later. What makes someone a tomboy is purely behavior and presentation. You already know the stereotypes. Short hair, baggy clothes, sports, video games, physical hobbies. They say stuff like dude and bro, unironically. And if we're being honest, they're literally just one of the boys.
Yeah, my baby, this is absolutely so true, but it's like, how should I say this? Like hanging out with the tomboy is basically like hanging out with a guy that's got boobs and a dump truck ass. Like, you get what I'm saying? So it technically isn't gay. Technically isn't gay if you know that one friend that, you know, and oh, wait, okay, I think I just thought about what I was about to say, but I can't say that because it's so. Oh god.
That's why a girl you could just sit down and play Halo with was like pulling a gold scar in prime Fortnite. But here's the thing, tomboys aren't just a haircut or a hoodie. At its core, a tomboy is just a woman who doesn't lean into traditionally girly stereotypes. That's why Kim Possible is a tomboy even with long hair. Same with Wendy and Amethyst. And then you have your short hair squad, Ryuko, Gogo, and Sandy. Okay, she's technically a squirrel, but you get the point. Different looks, same energy. Tomboys didn't make a statement, they just existed, and the tomboys lived in harmony. That was until the label nation attacked. Now at this point, you might be thinking, okay, so tomboys still exist. What's the problem? And yeah, you're right, they do. The problem is we stopped letting them just be tomboys. See, the popularization and the ease of access with the internet brought in a massive influx of people, all with differing backgrounds and opinions. And humans crave individuality. We all want to be seen as unique, which brought about the rise of label culture. The internet's a lot like prison, in the sense that you kind of want to figure out what groups you align with and stick with them.
I think I'm familiar with these types of people, but
that's why supremacists go to 4chan. Old people are on Facebook, and Diddy disciples are on Discord. Join my Discord. Like,
okay. That last statement he said, you know, before they join my Discord is actually 100% true. This guy is so real.
You've seen it before. You go to someone's profile, and they got enough tags about themselves to send a Blackwall AI into a psychosis. Now, you could say it's due to people becoming more socially aware, but the idea of needing to label everything has become a detriment, and there seems to be this weird societal pressure to figure out your identities early. Nowadays, especially online, you can't just be a girl who acts boyish without people making assumptions about you, and they have a slew of labels for them. Wow, you have short hair? You must be trans-mask. And if you wear looser clothes, you gotta be non-binary. And if you're not super into makeup, then you're obviously questioning gay.
That is true, but I've also been thinking that for some reason, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I am partially I am to I am one of these people that label, because when I was far younger, I just presumed that every girl with short hair and that type of haircut, that type of guy ass haircut is basically a lesbian. Any woman that has that haircut is basically a lesbian. I call that the lesbian cut. I'm not gonna lie, that cut is ass. Okay, that cut is so ass. Like every single woman I see wearing that cut just looks instantaneously ass. Period. So I'm sorry. Okay. Please don't kill me.
Now, I'm not saying these aren't the cases, sometimes, but even well-meaning people who ask these types of questions are subconsciously putting labels on you. You can't just do anything anymore without a reason. And I don't want you guys to take away that I'm like blaming LGBTQ people for this. I'm literally just blaming overinterpretation. Because the same thing happens on the opposite side of the spectrum. Oh, you like skincare and being clean? Damn, bro, you've got to be gay. Like what? I will say though, back when the word tomboy was used heavily was also around the same time when all minorities were considered browns and Asians were yellow. Kinda just grouping them all together. I did use those colors for YouTube's sake though, guys. We know what those old heads were saying back in the day. But now it's the 21st century, and we are kind of better than that. Essentially, tomboys didn't really disappear as a concept. They've kind of just been spliced into even more specific groups. Literally, the same way we say Mexican, Dominican, and Puerto Rican instead of, look at all them Donald Trump, please save us. What did we say earlier about Aristotle though? When one archetype disappears, something else has to fill the void. That something being femboys. The whole appeal of tomboys from the very beginning was simple. They were soft like a girl, but chill like a dude. They had feminine traits without these social expectations that usually come with them. Low drama, low emotional games, high compatibility. But when the archetype faded, the niche didn't disappear. It just got refilled. And it's funny, because for years, whenever you described a tomboy to someone, they'd hit you with the same response. So, you just want a homie you can smash? Why don't you just date a man? Well, that's exactly what ended up happening. Femboys are literally just tomboys with a joystick. Okay. Wait a minute. Do I want the bird that can smash? Now that I think about it, that sounds interesting. What? Still talk like dudes. They still have the same humor, the same hobbies, and the same blunt communication style and the low maintenance. And like I said before, they're one of the boys! Now, it's no secret that traditional masculine and feminine expectations have completely blurred. Masculine women didn't disappear, they became politicized. And feminine men didn't disappear, they just became aestheticized. So now, a lot of masculine leaning men are stuck choosing between these three options. Either A, masculine women you're almost guaranteed to butt heads with. B, feminine women competing in the dating market on nightmare difficulty. Or C, feminine men who accidentally embodied all the traits tomboys used to represent. And once you realize that, is when the rise of femboys stops being all that surprising. In reality, tomboys still exist. They're just less visible now than ever before. Kinda like Invisigal. They're more often than not just relabeled under some other category, unlike femboys who have become normalized and trendy. Granted, if I were talking longevity, then tomboys all the way. All fun and games so you wake up to a stofo with a receding hairline. Basically, people never stopped liking tomboys. They just stopped knowing what to call them. And if you really wanted a homeboy you could smash, society decided that that homeboy was gonna be a dude. Alright Pookies, that's it. This is my last video of 2025. And yeah, it doesn't seem like we're hitting 100k before the year ends. But honestly, I'm not even mad about that. Me when I lie. Because the fact that this many of you stuck around, watched my schizo ramblings, shared the videos, and kept coming back, that actually means more than the number ever could. I started making videos just hoping that someone, literally like somewhere, would find them entertaining. And the fact that thousands of you did, that's pretty insane to me. So genuinely, thank you. Thank you for watching, for commenting, for arguing in the replies, and for letting me spew my down bad takes into a microphone. We'll hit 100k eventually, and I know that. Whether it's next year or whenever, we'll get there together. Until then,
I feel the exact same way about you guys too, not gonna lie.
and I appreciate every single one of you. And I hope I can make next year an even bigger one. Until next time, Pookies. Bye bye.
Okay, I'm not going to lie. This video just reminds me about basically the fact that everything's just getting politicized. And like, I'm gonna be real. Politics freaking sucks. Freaking sucks. Generally, like I actually once upon a time I actually thought that people who are into politics that are political are basically smart as hell, but but then when I actually got into that circle, I realized that everyone is actually an idiot. That's basically what it does. It makes people who are already idiots or were actually average intelligence to be either to be even bigger idiots than they were before, or just become idiots just entirely. It's just it's absolutely it's just an absolute total idiot shithole. It sucks. I I honestly hope that one day we stop politicizing everything and just come together as a society and realize that, man, this shit is either ass or this shit is either they're just really good.
A, B, C, D. Alphabet T. The single and a boom, boom.